Hi everyone, my name is Saurabh Rezvan. I'm an Arizona-based author and publisher. I focus on children's books, comics, and graphic novels, but I'm also co-writing my first D&D campaign for kids. I self-publish all my work through my company, Flat Mountain Publishing. If you'd like to learn more about me or my books, check out flatmountainpublishing.com or follow me on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram at Flat Mountain Publishing. You can find links to all my sites in the description below. This video focuses on setting up a booth to sell your books and other items at a book fair, author expo, local market, or anywhere else you have the opportunity to sell your creations. I've tried lots of different setups over the last few years. Some of my setups were quite busy. Some were more streamlined. The setup you'll see in this video is less cluttered. As I go through each step in my process, you can find links to every item in the description. Some of those sites may pay me a commission if you purchase items through the links in the description. I'll also provide a link to a downloadable list of supplies I mentioned throughout the video. I hope you find this video helpful. As you test out your booth setup, please come back and leave a comment to share what you've learned. If you'd like to see more content focused on writing or publishing, drop a comment below, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Most venues will provide you with a table. You typically get a table that's 6 feet long. I've been to a few shows with 8-foot tables, and even a few outdoor shows where I had a space that measures 10 feet by 10 feet. It's likely that you'll need a table at some point. I recommend a 6-foot long folding table. I drive a standard 4-door car, and my foldable 6-foot table fits easily in my trunk. For indoor shows, I've always had chairs provided. For outdoor shows, I usually have to bring a table and chairs, plus a tent to cover the space. I'll talk about the tent at the end of the video. If you need chairs, you can bring any kind of folding chair that fits in your car. This table is pretty easy to unfold and lock in place. With the table in place, you'll add a table skirt. There are lots of options and colors available. I went with a simple black, stretchable table skirt that can tuck under the feet of the table. I added my custom printed table runner on top of the table skirt. Both the table skirt and table runner come in lots of color options. I went with a white table runner to contrast with my black table skirt. I had my company logo printed on the table runner to give my booth a professional look. Because I sell books, I want my books clearly visible to prospective buyers as they pass by. I use clear acrylic book stands to display my books. The stands are on the right side of my table. Here's how my 4 children's books look on the acrylic stands. You may also notice that I added some labels to the front of the books. I printed these on my label maker, and they say display copy, take a look. Shoppers don't always treat merchandise with care, so I use a display copy and sell new unhandled copies to customers. This is the part of my setup that I've experimented with the most. I think it's important to have easy to read sell sheets or marketing slicks so shoppers can quickly see what the books are about. I also like to make the price clearly visible. I put these sheets in clear acrylic sign holders. For this display, I put them down in front of the books, but I've also put them on clear acrylic risers or stands behind my books and other setups. I don't show the risers in this video, but there's a link to them in the description. You'll also see a sign holder on the left. I'm fortunate to have my daughter help me at my shows, so she gets some space to sell her bracelets and other handmade items. Don't forget, you'll still need to have an elevator pitch to quickly summarize your books for customers breezing by. Here's a picture of one of my sell sheets. I've gone through many iterations of these summaries. This is the current sell sheet for my most recent book, How Did the Hippopotamus Get There? Next, I add the sign holder for my mailing list and all my social media pages. It's important to find ways to engage with your audience after a show. I have QR codes for all the options, so it's easy for someone to quickly follow me. I use MailChimp for my mailing list management. Here's a better view of my Get in Touch and Follow sheet. I tried using a printed sign-up sheet on a clipboard, but I moved away from that. The clipboard takes up more space on the table, and I'm always struggling to read the handwriting. There are also people who would rather follow you on social media than get an email. As social media sites can gain and lose popularity, it's helpful to maintain your own mailing list. I added the Amazon store QR code because I occasionally get people who ask if my books are for sale on Amazon, even though I sell the books at the booth. It's possible they'll buy the book later, and I'm happy to sell the book later through Amazon. Next, I put out my giveaway and promo items. Starting in the front, I have a 3-ring binder full of stickers, coloring pages, and activity sheets. I sell the stickers for $1 each. While I don't sell a ton of them, they are easy add-on purchases, and I do find there are people who may not be my audience for the book, but they still think the stickers are cute. I made the stickers myself, either from artwork in my books or graphics I made myself related to my books. After printing the artwork onto label paper, I cut them with a Cricut. Here are some of the stickers I sell. I try to make them in a variety of fun shapes. We print them on water-resistant label sheets and cut them on our Cricut. Again, I charge $1 each for these. I provide a variety of activity sheets and coloring pages in my binder. I design these myself and print them at a local FedEx office. These are free for anyone who wants them, kid or adult. Here are a couple of examples. I always include QR codes on the bottom of the pages so people can easily buy a copy of the corresponding book later if they don't get one at my booth. Behind the binder, I have more freebies. I have a variety of bookmarks which are free for anyone. I print these in bulk through Vistaprint. Here are a few example bookmarks. As with the coloring and activity sheets, the bookmarks also include QR codes to purchase my books. I don't hand out business cards because I prefer to use the bookmarks. The bookmarks sit in a custom printed coffee mug with my logo, which I also printed through Vistaprint. I also have free crayons in another custom printed coffee mug. I like using the mugs for the crayons and bookmarks because they minimize the table space I need to use. Behind the mugs, I have a sign from Square, but I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Here's a final photo of my booth from this setup. The last thing I do is clear the back of my booth of bags and drinks so I project a clean, professional look. Behind my booth, you'll see a retractable banner stand. Some shows don't allow these, but I rarely have an issue putting this behind my booth. There are also tabletop options that take up minimal space on your booth. I purchased mine through a third party, but there's a link in the description to a similar product. I also added a preview copy of my next book to the table, which is a comic called Dad Powers and Other Stories. I have some previews of the comics on my YouTube channel and on Instagram. Just search for Flat Mountain Publishing. Here's a booth set up from another recent show. This show is outside, so I have my 10x10 tent. This tent doesn't have a back wall, so I may get one in the future. Next, I'll talk about the supplies I bring to shows. I always have a backpack full of supplies when I go to my shows. I bring scissors, invisible tape, painter's tape, packing tape, black pens, black Sharpies, and a pad of paper. I use the pad of paper to track my sales. The pens and Sharpies are great for autographs and personalizations, which are always free. I also bring an envelope with some cash to make change, usually less than $100, with a few tens, some fives, and some ones. There are a couple of supplies that I'll call out specifically, and I'll include the links in the description. The first is the Square Reader. I definitely recommend the contactless version that works with the tap. The other item I'll mention is a box of plastic shopping bags. Some shoppers will bring a backpack or reusable bag, and some shows hand out bags to attendees, but most people appreciate not having to carry everything in their hands. You may be tempted to reuse your own plastic shopping bags, but you really need to make sure the bags you're using are clean and don't have holes. Buying a box of plastic bags will last a long time and they don't take up much space. So far, I've talked about all the supplies you may need for your booth. You combine that with the products you're selling, and you'll find yourself with a lot of stuff to take with you. I tried to pack my supplies and books for sale in a large storage container with wheels that can fit in my trunk. I measured the trunk of my car, then looked at the container store for a bin that would fit inside my trunk on top of my folded table. I included a link to a model similar to the one I use in the description. If you don't want to use a bin, or if you just have a lot of stuff, think about getting a collapsible wagon. This will save you a bunch of trips to and from your car. As I mentioned briefly before, for outdoor shows, you may need a canopy tent. I typically see outdoor spaces measuring 10 feet by 10 feet. I suggest a canopy tent with wheels that you can open and close by yourself if necessary. As an added bonus, find one with sandbags so you can anchor the canopy down. Some venues don't allow you to use stakes to secure your canopy. The sandbags will be empty when you buy them, and you can fill them with sand or dirt. As with the storage trunk, I added links to similar items in the description, but I may have purchased mine through Costco. The last things I bring with me are water and snacks. Some shows have food available, but I always bring some water and snacks to keep me going. Then I'll have a sit-down dinner after the show to relax. I mentioned earlier in the video that I put QR codes on all my free items. If you are going to use QR codes, or if you sell products through links online, check out the Amazon Associates program as a way of earning extra money when you sell products through personalized links from Amazon. That brings us to the end of this video. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in other videos about writing, self-publishing, or marketing, feel free to drop a comment below. I've also included a link to a downloadable list of items in the video description. Thanks for watching.